Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy, and today we're going to be talking about working and homeschooling and my top 4 or 5 tips to help you really make working at home and homeschooling work together. If it's your first time here, welcome. Make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe button because it really does help me and my channel out. Okay guys, so I have my tips over here and I want to make sure that I go over these and I don't miss them. So if you see me looking over here, it's because I am not a professional YouTuber. So let's talk about the things that I have done over the last long span of time to work and homeschool. So I've been working and homeschooling together for about 5 years. I started working at home before I started homeschooling, and we decided to throw homeschooling in the mix about 3 or 4 years after I started working at home. So my oldest was in 3rd grade when we pulled him out, and my youngest was going into kindergarten, and we decided not to proceed with that, and we made sure that we got him out before he even started. So neither one of my children were in public school for very long, and my youngest was never even in public school. I've been working at home since about 2011, 2012, and I was a business owner, and now that has molded and changed a little bit over the last couple of years. And right now, I actually do more work in the search engine optimization industry. And if you guys want more information about that, I do help websites and product-based business owners optimize their websites for Google. So we have a team that does that, and that's kind of like where I get to geek out a little bit. But it does take time, and it does take time away from me homeschooling. So I'm going to show you guys the 5 things that I do that really help everything just kind of come together. So my first tip is nightly prep. There are some things that I do literally every night, and I cannot even fathom going throughout my day without doing these things at night, because it just makes my whole morning just out of whack if these things are not done. And I'm kind of type A, to where I need things to be done in a certain order, and I need things to be, I like to run a well-oiled machine, if you want to go with that. And I think, some of it probably is a little bit of control issues on my part, I will admit that, but it really does help me feel like things run smoother. So before I go to bed, I make sure that the dishes are done and put away, that the countertops in my kitchen are all sanitized, that the coffee maker is set to go, so all I have to do is hit a couple of buttons. And I usually make sure that things are prepped in the schoolroom as well, and that I have something that I can leave with my assistant the night before, and I let her know, like, hey, we're going to be working on this task this week. So I make sure, because she and I are in different time zones, and she works before I do, I make sure that I set her up and that she's ready to go. So if I'm not awake yet when she starts her shift, then she knows exactly what she needs to do. So I prep my kids by prepping the schoolroom and knowing what I'm going to do. And a lot of that has to do with just really good planning with homeschool and with my actual big planner that you guys have seen me use. And the other part of that comes into prepping for work, and part of that is prepping my home. So whatever those tasks you feel like you need to have done to feel like you are going to have a great morning, do those things so you don't have to do them in the morning. Mine is always the dishes, because I hate doing dishes. So if I wake up and I see a sink full of dishes, it just annoys me so much. So I like to make sure that my dishes are done, that the dishwasher is loaded, and we are ready to go in the morning. So number 2 is planning a week ahead. So you guys know, if you've watched some of my other videos, that I do have a genetic disorder called CVS, not the pharmacy, but like the pharmacy. And a lot of times it makes things a little bit more difficult for me, and it keeps things really interesting, because I don't know when I'm going to go into another episode. And not to get into the nitty gritty of what actually happens with me, but I could be fine 1 minute and 5 minutes later I could be in a completely different state, and that's just that's my reality that I have to live with, and my family has to kind of live with that as well. So we've done certain things and we prep in certain ways to make sure that we have those bases covered. So for me, what that looks like is really making sure that I'm prepped a week ahead. I know what is coming. If I know what is coming, I kind of feel a little bit less anxious, and I know what to do a little bit more as well. And I have found that prepping a week ahead for me isn't just making sure that the lesson plan is written out. That means, do I have the art supplies? Do I have all of the CDs with the music that we're going to be listening to for composer study? Do I have all of the pieces that I need for all of the science experiments we're going to do throughout the week? Are the copies run off? Which I have been really bad about that this year, to be honest. This is the first year I haven't been really good about my copies, but I need to get better about that. But you know, it's little things like that, making sure that we have the right books and making sure that we have our book basket prepared and that we have all of the school supplies that we need. So just making sure that those things are ready to go really helps me, just in case we either have something come up, I have a really hard work week, or, you know, I get sick. So I have all of those things already prepped, and the kids and my husband, they know where they are, so I can say, okay, if I can't get off the couch, go get this, this, and this for me, and we will do it right here instead. So just being flexible and having those things already prepared a week ahead of time just helps out so much, and especially with work, because sometimes, because we are a service-based industry with the job that I have right now, sometimes we have some weeks that are just heavier than others, which means that we have way more on our plate, especially if like we're launching a new course or something, versus, you know, something like in the middle of the month where it's just, you know, it's really laid back. So, you know, there are those times where you're just going to be busier than others, and having everything prepared, kind of like your nightly prep, really does help out tremendously. So number 3, I always make sure that my schoolroom is prepped and ready to go. Now this kind of goes with the nightly prep, but there's a lot of prep involved, guys. And what I mean by that is, at the end of the school day, I make sure that my kids put everything back. So this really cuts down on the where is my book issue, because I feel like we all go through that at some point. Like, I can't find my book. We actually had this problem today, I kid you not, because my one child forgot to put his book back when he was reading in another place in the house, because I do let them kind of read where they want to, and he did not know where his book was. So it really helps, take it from me, to have your students at night or after school put everything back where it goes. Have a place for everything in your school space, whether that be on their desk. I mean, like for us, we use these boxes a lot, which are index card boxes. These are very helpful, and I think they were only like $1. We got them at like the Dollar Tree or something. Or these magazine file holders. Now this one is not nearly as flimsy as like the paper cardboard ones. We've had these for several years, and they are really, really helpful. So this is my youngest, and he keeps this on his desk, and this just has all of his workbooks and things that he writes in, and his readers that he uses for Rebecca, because we know exactly where they are at all times. So we are not like running all over the house trying to look for things. And for you guys who have seen my Father's World videos, you guys know that I use these file boxes to kind of keep all of our papers in check and make sure that I have everything exactly where it needs to go, so I'm not running around going, where are those worksheets? So making sure that I have kind of a place for everything in its place helps not just me, but my kids, and it helps our day flow a little bit faster because everything is prepared. We know where it is. And I have done the weekly and nightly prep, you know, on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. Number 4 is having a dedicated work and school time. So what I mean by that is in the mornings we have a lot of things going on. So in the morning, I think is our most hectic time of the day, because we are doing the breakfast thing and the coffee thing, and I might be answering emails or talking to my assistant, or I might be, you know, doing all kinds of things, or it can just get a little chaotic. I'm sure you guys probably can relate to that a little bit. So I make sure that that I have a dedicated time where I know, okay, this is going to be my school time, this block of time of my day. So my morning to about 1 o'clock is my school time. Everything after that is any work tasks that need to be done, and any dinner prep, time with family, things like that. They all kind of fall into that category in the afternoon and evening. So I have this time block carved out, and that seems to always be evolving and changing, especially right now as we are developing this this brand new agency that I'm working in, and as we hire more people, it is evolving and changing, and I'm slowly taking steps back away and kind of giving my team members more of my job. But I'm still kind of the director and I'm the one who moves the people and moves the pieces, and I'm the one who develops the courses. So I have a dedicated time, you know, like even if that is on the fly, like when my husband is, you know, doing a project in the garage, I know that time I can carve out to myself and say, oh, I have, you know, 3 hours to work on my course right now. So I can go off and I can do that, and that's my work time. Having that and having that be really flexible really does help. But when I had more steady work, I had to really tighten up this period of time for myself. So I would have school time, and school time would end, you know, abruptly at one period of time, you know, 1 to 2 o'clock. And then I would work from usually 2 to 6. And then we would have dinner, and depending on what time of the year it was, if it was Christmas, then I would be working several more hours throughout the night. But it was one of those things that really just, you know, didn't just evolve over time, but we really got down the schedule, and that seemed to work with us a lot. The last thing is one of the most important, and that is teaching kids to work independently. I can't express to you how important independence is with children. So what I mean by that is have your kids take initiative. Do they know how to, and this is going to also depend on the age and maturity of your child, are they old enough to check their own answers for things? And we don't do this for tests, but I do have my oldest, who is almost in 9th grade. He actually checks all of his Abeka stuff himself with the grade book, and he actually enjoys doing that. And for him, checking his grammar like that actually helps him out a lot, because he's like, oh, now that I see this in the answer book, I know why I got that wrong. I can see why I got it wrong, and then he can go back and he can fix it. So that's his job, is to correct his papers and to see what he got wrong and to try to understand why he got it wrong. For my youngest, that means kind of looking ahead in his book, and he can know, okay, I need to do this page in science. And typically, because we have everything so well organized, this is really easy for them. They just kind of have to look at their book or look at the board. I've done this before when my kids were younger. I actually would list out everything on the whiteboard that they had to do that day. So they would have the book and the page number, and if they had any questions or didn't understand the directions or needed my help, then I was always right there to help them. But I taught them early on how to be really independent and how to take initiative with their schoolwork. And I think they find that they work faster, and they like that because they don't need so much intervention from me. So having kids who do that and who work so well by themselves is really a blessing, and teaching those skills early on will help you so much in the long run when it comes to work. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you have a suggestion for how you do the work at home, homeschool, juggle, leave it for me down below. I would love to see and get some ideas. Have a great day, happy homeschool, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.